What's going on, guys? Today is day 12 of my 365-day walk through the Bible. We are going to review Hebrews chapter 6, verses 9 through the end of the chapter, which is verse 20 today. Once again, in good Hebrew fashion, the writer of Hebrew brings up one of the old patriarchs of the society of the Hebrew nation, the Jewish nation. He talks more about Abraham. He more talks about God through Abraham. It's really interesting because you have the simple fact of when a human makes a promise, we swear on something higher. Like, some people swear on their mother's grave. Some people, which I would never do. Just not in my style. Some people swear on Jesus. Some people swear on some other kind of entity. Something like that. And the simple fact is that God himself swears on himself. Because there is no one greater than him. When he promised to Abraham, that he would have descendants more than the numbers of stars in the sky. He swore himself. He made a covenant with Abraham by swearing on himself, saying that, if he makes a promise, who's going to fall behind it? It'll only be him, and he's not going to fall behind a promise. He's made so many promises in the Bible, and he's going to fulfill every single one of them. Well, he fulfills the promise of Abraham. Abraham was not alive to see the full extent of it, but he was alive to see Isaac being born, the start of his lineage. And now, if you look in Israel and places like that, and in the past, he has had millions of people who are under his lineage. They were born from one man or one family. It's kind of insane to think on this. Well, he talks about that, and further on in this, he talks about he has been kind of on these people, for the people who he's writing to in the book of Hebrews. He's been writing and telling them, look, abstain from this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, do this, do this, don't do this. Remember the saints. Now he's kind of giving them I'm not saying that you're going to do this, but I'm just warning you, is what he's saying, essentially. He's saying, watch out for these things, slothfulness and things like that. Be careful with this kind of thing. And then he shows that now, through all this, and after saying all this, God made a promise through Christ, which is God, that he would come back and take us home. He is preparing this place for us on our behalf. He's the forerunner. He has gone and become the high priest in the order of Melchizedek, which is a priest back in the old days. It's just mind-baffling that you go from don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, to, hey guys, guess what? In the end, Jesus is still there. He's coming back. There's so much more you can say about this passage. It really is actually, it could be broken down in a few weeks sermon, but I try to keep it, on just a brushing, just for these videos, seriously, just to get people more interested in going deeper into the study. I literally spend probably an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depends on the day, depends on the length of the scripture, on each of these scripture passages, and I literally give a brief overview of what's going on in the scripture. And this one, you can go so far, and you can break it down into promises, and you can break it down into what to avoid, and the fact that God is coming back. You can do all these different things, but for right now, we're just going to reflect on the fact, and through the next day, reflect on the fact that God made a promise. He's made many promises. He's fulfilled quite a few of them. He's going to fulfill all of them. And one of the biggest promises he ever made was that he sent his son. His son is now with him in heaven, and one day he'll send him back to get us. Over this next day, just reflect on what that means for us. I had a youth pastor who used to say the rules of heaven are to get to heaven and to bring people with you. So what does that mean for you? That means that since Christ made this promise and that he's coming back, get to heaven. And next, who are you going to bring with you? Pray over the scriptures today. Like I said yesterday, I have a new site that we're working with for this project in particular. It's called Awordforyou.org. Go check it out, and if you sign up, you can also post. If you do videos or blogs or anything like that, you can post to our site. If you're doing this study along with us, just take time through your day for the next 365 days to read Scripture. And the reason why I say put a post is because it's something simple to do to make sure that you've studied. It's to hold yourself accountable that you're doing this every day. It's not something you need to be judged by. If you miss a day, you miss a day. But it gives you more of a chance to dive deeper into His Word. Alright, guys. I'm going to get off here. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We're going to go further into, I think, chapter 7 tomorrow of Hebrews. And I'll see y'all then. Grace and peace.